Well, hello again. I'm nearly at the end of a 30-day challenge that I set myself to draw a tree every day, and I'm going to put together a video sort of showcasing some of my favorites from that 30-day journey. But I thought today maybe you could just join me as I draw my tree for today, and we can have a little bit of a chat. How does that sound? I'll see you in the studio. So yeah, today's been an interesting day in terms of sort of stop-start, hit-miss creative endeavours. I tried to sort of revive my illustration about songs that inspire me. It just wasn't working, and I thought I'd try and knock back the colours and see if I could start it again. It just wasn't working. So I actually just redrew it and did a whole new, so I've got it back to the inked stage, ready to add some watercolours to it. So that was a bit of a hit and miss. All right, let's start with, it's going to be, again, follow my nose type thing, start in the bottom corner and work my way up. Draw some nice bubbly looking little roots here, framed by some grass. I love my trees to sort of go off at some crazy angles, and just don't like straight trees. That's a little bit boring. So I'll have the trunk sort of like so, leaning in there, and I really have no idea where I'm going to be going with this tree. That's what I kind of liked about this challenge. It's been just letting my mind wander, letting my pen wander, and just making decisions as I go, looking at what I'm drawing and then thinking, oh, it might look nice if that was balanced over here, or if that had a little branch shooting off like so. And create some nice little textural lines here and there, and practicing my wobbly pen for creating lines of texture in the bark. Wobbly pen is a must, I have found, for doing this sort of work. All right, so let's go and do a little branch up here, and like that. The other thing I was doing today was working on something I don't actually do very often at all, and that was going back in and looking at a couple of life drawing pieces that I had done over the last few weeks that I just wasn't really happy with. There was something, I didn't like the likeness, the faces weren't quite where I wanted them to be, so I actually got them back out again and did a little bit of fiddling around in them, and it's a certain degree of success, I think. I'm not 100% sure it was actually worked very well, but it might make me want to go back and look at revisiting some of the other pieces that I've done that I didn't quite finish in the time we have allotted, which is usually sort of we have 2 hours altogether. We do some quick gesture drawings at the start, which are always fun, and it's because they're short, the model can be far more dynamic and adventurous in their posing. We had a fantastic model last night. We've had really, really good models all term, but this particular model was just so fantastically dynamic in his gesture poses, but then just picked this beautiful standing pose for the long pose for the rest of the night. That was just, it seemed effortless for him, but it was really interesting regardless, all around the room. That's what good models can do, is that they can cater to everybody, and they don't pick something that's going to be too hard for them to reposition back into again. Because we tend to do a long pose after the gesture poses, a long pose for the rest of the night in sort of 3 20-minute little sections. And so each time we finish the section, we tape the model off, and where their foot was, and other landmarks, so they can get back into that pose again. And the good models, they'll know how to do that for the most part, and work out where their eye line was, what they were looking at, so that they can get their head in the right position again. And the model was just fantastic. Would love to see him again next term. Hopefully we will. be having a little nightmare in the other room. Maybe not a nightmare, maybe just chasing some rabbits in her sleep. Okay, so there's some interesting branches, you know, like there's not much to this, a little bit of overlap here and there, trying to just keep it out of it being completely two-dimensional, and sort of have a few little branches like this coming, what look like coming forward, and some behind the main trunk like that. I also find if I focus on sort of some of these branches drooping down, as if, you know, gravity's had its effects on them, then I can add some nice little leaf shapes to those at the end. Speaking of, I don't tend to know what sort of species tree I'm drawing. It's probably some amalgam of all of the trees I've loved and looked at. So the leaves, I just tend to just pick, you know, a really basic shape to indicate where the leaves are. And, you know, obviously I'm not going to draw every single leaf, that would be crazy, but enough to sort of give some idea of where the main shapes of the leaf, where the branches and the foliage might be. That made a lot of sense, I'm sure. And I like to, you know, I don't obviously draw all of the leaves connected to the branches that I've drawn. Some of them will be what looks like floating in space, but if you think about at this sort of distance, you wouldn't be able to see all of the connecting stalks on those leaves anyway, so you can kind of get away with a little bit of artistic license there. Yeah, so I'm just going to go super quick and just create what is the shape of the canopy of this particular tree without going into too much detail for each leaf. Just sort of trying to get that sense of where it might, where the shapes are going. I might do some ones down in between these branches as well, just to show that the tree does continue on multiple planes, not just this one two-dimensional plane. A few random ones there. Now with this big space up in the top here, I've got a few options. One of the things that's actually kind of nice to do is you just sort of create little holes in the canopy, like so, where the leaves might not all be, and you can just sort of like draw some little branches in there. I find that's kind of cute, showing where the tree might be continuing as it grows up through. That'll do, a couple like that, and then I might just create a few little clusters of leaves here, just to show that the whole area is leafed up. Now there we go, that's really, really basic outline. And so where to go from here? I could continue on, and I might just do a little bit more of this, creating some nice little ridge lines for the bark. And again, if I'm thinking about where the light's coming from, I want to say coming from the left hand side, so the right hand side of the tree is likely to be cast in shadow, so we're probably going to see a few more of these lines closer together, like so, like that. And we'll still have a couple on this side, just to show it's not all completely smooth. Create a few more nice little roots down here. And I like to draw from the edge into the center, just to show a little bit of twisting of some of these branches. Again, don't have to worry too much. Now in this case, the sort of the shadow might be on the underside as well, for those branches that are going out more horizontally. The one's going vertically, I'm going to stick my shadows on the right hand side. I'm working a little bit more quickly than I might normally do, just for the sake of the video. But you'll kind of get the idea. You can go in and do as much as you like in terms of creating bark lines and shapes and textures and the like. Okay, that's looking pretty good. I'm happy with that for the time being. But at the last part is I'm going to do a little bit of a quick cheat. This is a brush pen, which has got a reservoir of water which I've added some ink to. So I can actually get some ink wash down. Now I've probably made this darker than I might normally, but I just want to make sure that it shows up all right. So I'm just going to create these shapes in here, and it will dry a little bit lighter, but let's do that in there. Let's make this my... So again, the underside of the canopy will be much darker than the top side of the tree where the light's probably going to be hitting it more. So I'm just going to focus most of the shadows down there. And again, for anything that's sort of hiding under the canopy, I can make those a little bit darker too. Like that. And here and there. Maybe a few little spots here and there. Like that. And maybe a little bit down here as well. Cool. Now, if my wash was a little bit lighter, I'd probably add some more to the trunk too. But in this case, I'll leave it like that for now, I think. Yeah, I think so. What I might do is just go back in and just darken up some of these little shapes here, just to show where the shadow might be catching in some deeper ridges of the bark on the side. Remembering that this is going to be all shadowed on this side, like that. I like to create some little lines going in the other direction to some visual interest. That, drag some of those down. As you can see, you can just keep going and going and going with these sorts of things, but really, I think for these little studies, that is probably enough. There you go. I hope you were drawing along with me, and if you weren't, that you're inspired to want to draw some trees, and if not trees, whatever you like in your sketchbook, as long as you get some quarantine yourself some time, 10 to 15, 20 minutes. Create something cool. Great. All right, we'll leave it there. So there you go. That's another tree down. Only a couple more days of my challenge to go. I'm definitely going to miss it. I am committed to starting another challenge, but this time maybe drawing dragons. But perhaps I can find some time in between those to draw a tree or two. I don't think I'll be able to stop. Thank you so much again for all the lovely support and comments that I've been getting on videos, and it's really, really lovely to hear people are following along in this spirit of wanting to draw trees or other things, at least picking up a pen and putting it to paper. So nice to hear. If you decide to take on the tree challenge yourself, please let me know. Send me a link. I'd love to see your work, support you through that as well. And next time round, I'm not quite sure what will be my video, but yeah, I'm enjoying this series of just drawing with you and having a chat, so I'm sure it'll be something like that. Simple pleasure for this week, something food related, no doubt. I'm spending far too much time and money eating chocolate coated peanuts. Really, really yummy, real simple pleasure, but probably need to stop. Everything in moderation. Thanks again. I look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks' time. Until then, see you later.